Yes, guys, I hope you're doing well and I hope you started the day in a positive way. So what we're going to go over in today's video is a very common scenario. It's really common, something that I'm hoping a lot of people will be able to watch this video and think, that's me. And what I'm talking about is guys who come to me and they've got the big, bulky build. Now, what do I mean by that? Typically, this is someone who trains really hard in the gym. There's no messing about with them. They know how to push themselves, they love training, they're passionate about it, and they've got a lot of mass to show for it. Now, normally, these guys will always have a higher level of body fat. So they've got a belly on them, but they've got the shape and the size to match. However, they've been in this position for a long time, being big, being massed up, being bulky. And usually when I talk to guys like this, right, they have the exact same answer. I mean, across the board, this is the usual response when we begin our conversation. They'd love to get into great shape. They'd love to see their body lean. But every single time that they've tried to go down that path, they've just ended up getting smaller, feeling weaker, and not much leaner. And they look at themselves and think, do you know what? I'm losing size here. I'm losing strength. My belly's not shifting much. So what's the point of me pursuing this? And it ends up in a yo-yo cycle where you got the size, you got that shape, you got that mass. Every time that you try to get into shape, it usually backfires after a couple of weeks and you end up going back to what you were. So how do we overcome that? Well, here's the thing. I've got some great news for you guys. And that is this. You are honestly sitting on gold. All that eating you've been doing, all that hard training you've been doing, all that mass that you've built, you know, looking at it in the mirror as it is now, you have no clue at the amount of development that you have underneath. You have no idea the difference 20 to 30 pounds of body fat will make to the way you look. Not only will you be in a shape that you wouldn't believe, but you'll look bigger than you ever have. And here's the real beautiful part. Once you're in shape, you'll be able to get to a new level of size that you've never been to. And this time you'll be in shape doing so. So you can say goodbye to those big, bulky mass days. So when guys typically work with me like this, we break it down into a couple of phases, right? First phase, let's get lean fast. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. The first couple of weeks are the most important. These are the weeks where you have to be mentally stronger than you are physically. Because what you see in the mirror is you're going to be thinking to yourself, I'm looking smaller, I'm losing size, I'm losing shape. In reality, you are not. What's going on here is the fact that you're now dieting, you're dropping water, you're in a calorie deficit. So you're flatter than usual. Now, what that does is it creates a situation where you honestly do look like you're getting smaller and fatter because your muscles now are nowhere near as full as they used to be. You know, your skin is a little bit looser and you're in this situation where you've dropped that extra water. So it doesn't look like you're getting leaner, it just looks like you're getting smaller. Here's the thing. You've got to keep moving forward through that stage. And that's why I say mindset is key, absolute key. Because what's going to get you through that is mindset. When you keep focusing to yourself and you say, I've just got to get the work done, get my cardio done, get my training done, get my diet on point, week in, week out, focus on that. Don't pay attention to the mirror in those first couple of weeks. Once you shift past that phase, I give you my word, and I've done this with so many guys. Email, message any of my clients when I talk about the corner. The corner is when you get to a level within your journey, for most people 6 to 8 weeks, right? Where once you get past that, all of a sudden, that fat loss you've got going starts to appear rapidly visually in the mirror. And this is the corner stage for most guys who start at the big bulky mass type when the real excitement starts to happen. Because now, where you were just looking smaller and you're looking like you're losing size, all of a sudden, your body's starting to look more 3D. All of a sudden, your body's starting to look rapidly more muscular. All of a sudden, you're starting to take on a new shape, a shape you've never had before. What's going on? What's going on is we've got enough body fat off now that all your lines are starting to appear. And all that muscle that you've been building up over those years that's been hidden under a layer of fat is coming to the surface. And fucking hell, man, it looks amazing because you're going to see a level of density, you're going to see a level of definition that you've never seen before. And when the vascularity starts appearing, that's the icing on the cake. And now when I'm working with guys, this is where they really start to get excited, like, wow, I've never looked this way. I don't want to stop going. And that's exactly what we do. We bring it right down to the wire. You know, every single week focuses on our nutrition, our cardio, our diet, pushing it that little bit more. Just keep pushing it. Keep moving forward. Keep taking off another couple of pounds of fat each week. And then we get to the stage where they're ripped up and they've been in a shape they never have been. And this is the biggest game changer, because now you know what you look like because you're completely ripped up and you're muscular. You know exactly your weak point. You've got a whole new shape, a whole level of new development. You're seeing a physique that you've never seen before. And all that stood in your way prior to this has just been going through that, going through the hard work, pushing yourself through the trenches and getting yourself into the shape of your life, body fat wise, right? So the great thing is, once we get to this point, we know exactly what we need to work on, and we transition into phase 2, which is building you back up. Now, already, like I say, honestly, once you get to that level of body fat, you'll look the biggest that you've ever looked. Simple as that. Secondly, you'll look at a shape that you've never seen before, more rounded, more full than you've ever been. Now, when you start to build on this, it's so exciting, because what you're actually doing is you're going into uncharted territory. You are now not getting into shape, you're building something that you've never built before. And if you do things right and be very smart at the way that you feed your body up in that phase 2, which is what I do with guys, like we continuously slowly add food in, slowly increase your training intensity, keep the cardio in, monitoring it step by step, making sure that everything we're gaining is quality size, quality muscle. And when you do that, you end up going to a size beyond what you began at. Beyond what you began at, standing there with body fat and no real shape, just size. You get back to that, but this time leaner than you've ever been. And here's the amazing thing, and I've done it with so many guys now who tell me they cannot believe the amount of food that they're eating once we get past phase 2. The amount of food that they're eating, how lean they are compared to what they were before when they were big and bulky. And in most cases, a lot of the time they were eating less, holding more fat, in worse shape. And now they're in a position where they're in amazing shape. They are at a size they've never been at. And they're eating more food than ever with better development than ever. And this is why I say this all the time, guys, that when you start tying things up and you're focusing on every aspect, especially your diet, especially the cardio and the training, right? And you're focusing on that every day, the progress is insane. You will do in 20 weeks to 30 weeks what you really won't see people do in years, absolute years. And once we get past phase 2, phase 3 is even more beautiful. That's maintaining your new level of size in the shape of your life and making it a normalized position. So what I mean by that is where you're not force feeding, you're not under eating, and you're on a diet that gives you lots of balance, not doing too much cardio, but you've got the size there, you've got the condition there, so you can enjoy this level of physique. And that's what it's about, guys. So again, in this video, if you are somebody who's watching this and you're a big bulky guy where you've got the size, you love your training, but you're not in the best of shape, you know, you're holding a belly, then use this opportunity, use this video to go through those phases. Get yourself lean first. Go through that first hard mental phase where you've got to get through the fact of, I'm getting smaller. Go through it. Get yourself very lean. Then when you're lean, be smart and grow patiently. Build your strength in your thighs to a level you've never been to before. Then learn to maintain it so it stays there for good.